The crash and the choice. Marcus Kane wiped the sweat from his forehead as he maneuvered his salvage ship through the dense asteroid field. The rocks spun lazily around him like cosmic dancers, each one potentially hiding valuable metals or abandoned technology. He had been working these outer rim territories for 3 years now, making a decent living from the scraps that other miners left behind. His AI companion, a small drone he had named Vex, buzzed beside the main console. The little machine projected a holographic display showing nearby objects of interest. "Marcus, I'm detecting unusual energy signatures from Sector 7, Vex announced in its mechanical voice. "The readings don't match any known human technology." Marcus leaned forward, adjusting his ship's sensors. The readings were strange. Indeed, whatever was out there was big, metallic, and definitely not from Earth or any of the human colonies. His heart began to race with excitement. Alien tech was the holy grail of salvage operations. One good find could set him up for life. "Take us in slow, Vex. Let's see what we've got." As they approached Sector 7, Marcus saw it. A massive ship, unlike anything in human design, was embedded into the side of a large asteroid. The vessel's hull gleamed with an almost crystalline quality, and strange symbols glowed faintly along its surface. Smoke and debris drifted around, the crash site suggesting the impact had been recent. "Vex, run a full scan. I want to know if there are any life signs aboard that ship." The drone's sensors worked overtime, sending out invisible beams to probe the wreckage. After a few tense moments, Vex's voice crackled with uncertainty. "Marcus, I'm detecting faint biosignatures. There appears to be at least one survivor, but the readings are unusual, not human." Marcus felt his stomach tighten. First contact with an alien species was supposed to be handled by the colonial authority, not a lone salvage operator with a second-hand ship and a smart-mouthed AI. But whoever was trapped in that wreckage might not survive long enough for proper authorities to arrive. "Prep the emergency suits, Vex. We're going aboard." The AI's mechanical voice carried a note of concern. "Marcus, regulations clearly state that contact with unknown alien species should be reported immediately to proper authorities. This could be extremely dangerous." Marcus was already suiting up, checking his oxygen levels and toolkit. "Yeah, well, regulations don't account for dying aliens in the middle of nowhere. If we wait for the authorities, whoever's in there will be dead by the time they arrive." 20 minutes later, Marcus was floating through the vacuum of space toward the alien vessel. His magnetic boots clanked against the strange hull as he searched for an entry point. The ship's design was elegant, almost artistic, with flowing curves that seemed to channel energy through crystalline conduits. "There," he muttered, spotting what looked like an airlock. The symbols beside it were completely foreign, but the basic design principles seemed universal. After some careful manipulation of what he hoped were the right controls, the outer door cycled open. The interior of the ship was even more impressive than the exterior. The walls seemed to pulse with a soft blue light, and the air had a strange, almost musical quality to it. Marcus followed the faint bio readings on his scanner deeper into the vessel, past rooms filled with technology he couldn't begin to understand. Finally, he found her. The alien was trapped beneath a fallen beam in what appeared to be the ship's command center. She was humanoid in general shape, but clearly not human. Her skin had a subtle iridescent quality that shifted between silver and pale blue, and her hair looked like spun starlight. Most striking were her eyes, large and expressive, currently filled with pain and fear. When she saw Marcus, she tried to speak, but the words came out in a language he didn't recognize. The universal translator on his suit kicked in after a moment, converting her speech into heavily accented English. "Please, help me. My people. They will come looking, but I may not survive that long." Marcus knelt beside her, examining the beam that had her pinned. It was made of the same crystalline material as the ship's hull, but it had cracked in the crash, creating sharp edges that had cut into her side. Dark blue fluid that he assumed was blood had pooled beneath her. "I'm going to get you out of here," Marcus said, hoping his suit's translator was working in reverse. "What's your name?" "I am Princess Zephyra of the Crystalline Empire," she said, wincing as she tried to move. "And you, strange one, what manner of being are you?" Marcus nearly dropped his plasma cutter. A princess. He had stumbled across alien royalty in the middle of nowhere. This was either the best or worst luck of his entire life. "I'm human. My name is Marcus Kane. I'm a salvage operator, and right now, I'm your best hope of getting out of here alive." Working carefully, Marcus used his tools to cut through the beam, while Vex monitored the structural integrity of the surrounding area. It took nearly an hour, but finally, they were able to lift the debris enough for Zephyra to pull herself free. She was badly injured but conscious. "My ship," she said weakly. "It contains vital information about my people's defensive systems. There are those who would use this knowledge to destroy us. It cannot fall into the wrong hands." Marcus helped her to her feet, noting how she leaned heavily on him for support. "Who's after you?" "The Shadow Syndicate. They are a coalition of various species who seek to conquer and enslave others. They have been hunting me for weeks, trying to capture me and steal our military secrets. I was fleeing to neutral space when they damaged my ship." A chill ran down Marcus's spine. He had heard whispers of the Shadow Syndicate in the outer colonies. They were ruthless, powerful, and had no love for humanity. By helping Zephyra, he might have just painted a target on his own back. "There's something else," Zephyra continued, her alien eyes studying his face intently. "By saving my life, according to the ancient laws of my people, you have become my sworn protector. It is a bond that cannot be broken." Before Marcus could ask what that meant, Vex's voice crackled through his comm system with urgent news. "Marcus, I'm detecting multiple ships approaching from the outer edge of the asteroid field. They're moving fast, and their configuration doesn't match any known human vessels." Through the damaged viewport of Zephyra's ship, Marcus could see them now. Dark, angular vessels that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. They moved, with predatory grace, clearly searching for something. "The Shadow Syndicate," Zephyra whispered, fear creeping into her voice. "They have found us." Marcus felt his heart pounding as he realized the magnitude of what was happening. He was about to be caught in the middle of an interstellar conflict, protecting an alien princess from forces he barely understood. But as he looked at Zephyra's determined face, he knew he couldn't abandon her now. "How many ships in your royal guard?" he asked. 3 survived the initial attack, but they are badly damaged. Against a full syndicate hunting pack, we cannot hope to win in direct combat." Marcus grinned, the same expression he wore when facing a particularly challenging salvage job. "Then we won't fight them directly. We'll fight them smart. That's what humans do best." As the enemy ships closed in, Marcus realized his quiet life as a salvage operator was over. Whatever happened next, there would be no going back to his old existence. But looking at the hope that flickered in Zephyra's alien eyes, he found he didn't mind. Sometimes the most important salvage wasn't metal or technology. Sometimes it was a life worth saving. The battle for their survival was about to begin. The battle and the bond. The Shadow Syndicate ships prowled through the asteroid field like metal predators, their dark hulls bristling with weapons. Marcus watched them through the cracked viewport of Zephyra's ship, his mind racing through possibilities. 6 enemy vessels against his salvage ship and 3 damaged Royal Guard fighters. The odds were impossible by any conventional measure. "Commander Thane to Princess Zephyra," a voice crackled through the ship's communication system. "We have located your position. Syndicate forces are converging on your location. We are moving to intercept, but our ships are severely damaged. Zephyra struggled to reach the communication panel, her injuries making every movement painful. Marcus helped her activate the system. "Commander, this is Princess Zephyra. I am aboard my damaged vessel with a human who has sworn himself as my protector. His name is Marcus Kane." There was a pause before Commander Thane responded, his voice carrying obvious confusion. "A human, Princess? Are you certain this is wise?" Marcus stepped forward, speaking directly into the communicator. "Commander, with respect, we don't have time for proper introductions. I've been working salvage in this field for 3 years. I know every rock, every hiding place, and every piece of abandoned machinery floating out here. If you want to survive this, you need to trust me." Another pause, longer this time. Marcus could imagine the alien commander trying to decide whether to trust a human salvage operator with the life of his princess. "Very well, human. What do you propose?" Marcus was already moving, helping Zephyra toward his own ship, while Vex gathered critical data from her vessel's computer systems. "The Syndicate ships are built for open space combat. They're powerful but not particularly maneuverable. This asteroid field is full of old mining equipment, abandoned stations, and unstable rocks. We're going to use all of it." As they transferred to Marcus's ship, he quickly outlined his plan. The Royal Guard ships would spread out through the field, each taking position near specific asteroids that Marcus had marked on his charts. These weren't random rocks. They were the remnants of old mining operations, some still containing volatile materials or abandoned explosive charges. "You want us to hide behind rocks?" Commander Thane's voice carried obvious skepticism. "Not hide," Marcus explained as he fired up his ship's engines. "Hunt. Vex, transmit the detailed asteroid maps to the Royal Guard ships. Highlight all the unstable rocks and abandoned mining charges." The little AI drone buzzed with efficiency. "Data transmitted, Marcus. I should note that several of the abandoned charges are old nuclear mining explosives, still active but extremely unstable." Marcus grinned as he piloted his ship deeper into the asteroid field. "Perfect. Princess, does your technology interface with nuclear detonation systems?" Zephyra, despite her pain, smiled for the first time since he had found her. "Our ships can remotely trigger any explosive device. It is a standard mining capability." The first Syndicate ship entered the dense part of the asteroid field, its sensors probing for signs of the princess. Marcus watched it approach one of his carefully chosen positions, an old mining site where 3 massive charges had been left behind years ago. "Commander Thane, are you in position near Asteroid Cluster 7? "Confirmed, human. Waiting for your signal." "Princess, can you trigger the mining charges in that cluster?" Zephyra's fingers danced over her ship's control systems, interfacing with the ancient human mining equipment through her vessel's universal adapter. "Charges armed and ready." The Syndicate ship moved closer, its predatory form sliding between the floating rocks. Marcus waited until it was perfectly positioned, surrounded by the booby-trapped asteroids. "Now!" The explosion was spectacular. 3 nuclear charges detonated simultaneously, turning the asteroids into a deadly cloud of superheated debris. The Syndicate ship, caught in the middle of the blast, was torn apart by the expanding wave of destruction. "Impossible!" came a transmission from the remaining Syndicate vessels. "How did they—" "5 ships left," Marcus announced, already plotting their next move. "Commander, take your damaged ships to the coordinates I'm sending. There's an old space station there, abandoned but still structurally sound. Use it as cover and wait for my signal." The battle that followed was unlike anything in recorded military history. Marcus used his intimate knowledge of the asteroid field to turn every piece of floating debris into a weapon. Abandoned mining equipment became improvised missiles. Unstable asteroids became bombs. Old communications relays became decoys to confuse enemy sensors. The Royal Guard fighters, despite their damage, proved remarkably effective at this new style of warfare. Their advanced targeting systems could precisely trigger the traps Marcus had laid throughout the field. One by one, the Syndicate ships fell victim to explosions, collisions, and ambushes they never saw coming. The final enemy vessel, larger and more heavily armed than the others, proved more cautious. Its captain had learned from the fate of his companions and was using long-range sensors to probe ahead. "This one's smart," Marcus muttered, watching the ship's careful approach. "Vex, do we have any tricks left?" "One possibility, Marcus. There's an old fuel depot on the far side of the field. If we could lure the ship there—" Marcus studied the tactical display, his engineer's mind working through the possibilities. The fuel depot was ancient, its containment systems probably failing after decades of neglect. If they could somehow breach those tanks. "Princess, I need to ask you to do something dangerous." Zephyra, who had been watching the battle with growing amazement at human tactical thinking, nodded. "What do you require?" "I need you to broadcast on an open channel. Make it look like you're trying to escape to that fuel depot. The Syndicate ship will follow, thinking they have you trapped." "And then?" Marcus's grin was fierce. "Then we turn the entire depot into the biggest bomb this sector has ever seen." The plan worked perfectly. Zephyra's transmission, carefully crafted to sound desperate, drew the final Syndicate ship directly toward the old fuel depot. As it approached, confident that it had cornered its prey, Marcus and Commander Thane struck from opposite sides. The Royal Guard commander's ship, despite its damage, still carried powerful weapons. At Marcus's signal, he fired directly into the depot's main fuel tanks. The explosion that followed dwarfed even the earlier nuclear blasts, consuming the Syndicate ship in a wave of pure energy that lit up the entire asteroid field. In the aftermath, as debris settled and radiation readings slowly returned to normal, Marcus found himself surrounded by 3 battered but intact Royal Guard ships. Commander Thane's vessel docked with his salvage ship, and the alien commander himself came aboard. Thane was tall, even for his species, with the same iridescent skin as Princess Zephyra, but marked with intricate tattoos that spoke of military rank. He studied Marcus with obvious curiosity before speaking. "Human Marcus Kane, what you have accomplished today should have been impossible. 6 Syndicate warships destroyed by 3 damaged fighters and a civilian salvage vessel. My people will speak of this battle for generations." Princess Zephyra, now being treated by her ship's medical systems, added her own voice to the commendation. "Marcus Kane, by the ancient laws of my people and by your actions this day, you are no longer merely my sworn protector. You are now a guardian of the Crystalline Empire, with all the rights and responsibilities that title carries." Marcus blinked in confusion. "What exactly does that mean?" Commander Thane's expression was serious as he explained. "It means, human, that you now have the full protection of the Imperial Guard. Any threat to you is considered a threat to the Empire itself. You have ships, soldiers, and resources at your disposal should you ever need them." The weight of what had just happened began to settle on Marcus's shoulders. His quiet life as a salvage operator was indeed over, but something far more extraordinary had taken its place. He was now part of something larger than himself, connected to an alien empire through bonds forged in battle and mutual respect. "There is one more thing," Princess Zephyra said, her voice carrying a note of formality. "The Crystalline Empire wishes to establish formal diplomatic relations with humanity. Would you be willing to serve as our first ambassador to your people?" Marcus looked around at the alien faces watching him expectantly, then at his faithful AI companion Vex, and finally out at the asteroid field where he had spent 3 quiet years of his life. Everything was changing, but as he met Princess Zephyra's grateful gaze, he realized he was ready for whatever came next. "Well," he said with a grin, "I always did say salvage work was about finding valuable things in unexpected places. I guess I just found the most valuable thing of all." As the small fleet prepared to leave the asteroid field, Marcus Kane began his new life not just as a guardian and ambassador, but as a bridge between two species who had found friendship in the vastness of space. The human who had risked everything for an alien princess had gained far more than he had ever dared to dream.